The big thing for CCP Games this E3 was, of course, the reveal that Dust 514 would be exclusive for the PlayStation 3. But we're actually here together with Torfi, creative director of EVE Online, to talk about EVE Online instead. Because, well, Incarna is closing in. We've seen the captain's quarters on the test servers. How's the feedback been?
Feedback has been pretty good, really phenomenal. I think our players are starting to understand our rollout strategy. We updated character creator in Incursion like this January or February, and with a single character, and now we are giving you the room in captain's quarters, and we will be rolling out the more racial captain's quarters in the coming months. And then this winter we will open up into establishments where you actually go and meet other people inside the space stations, and then there's gameplay there. And we were concerned with people not getting the rollout strategy, going like, why don't you have all the features ready coming out at once? But this way of rolling out features, for us, at least for CCP, is much better, because we roll out these small increments of technology and gameplay. We'll put them out there, we see how people react to them, see how our servers feel. That's very important. And when we gather feedback, and then we do iterations based on the feedback and on the analysis that we do on the server and the network, etc. And that kind of methodology allows us to build a really solid foundation, very slowly over time, like a crystal growing slowly over time, becomes more strong and beautiful.
Looking, the word iteration is quite interesting though, because you got a lot of criticism of players for putting in features, I think especially during Tyrannus expansion, and then just dropping them. For example, people are still upset about factional warfare, for example. How are you looking back at those things now?
Well, factional warfare and an iteration of factional warfare is on a roadmap. We have been iterating on a number of things. So we did in Tyrannus, actually, we put out planetary interaction, and in Incursion, just after it, we iterated on planetary interaction. And actually, there's a graph that shows the usage of planetary interaction, and it actually spiked just after the iteration and grew tremendously after the gameplay iteration we did. We also are iterating on the turret graphics in-game. We're adding updating 613 new turrets in-game right now. We created a new character creator that we hadn't touched since 2003. In Trinity, we updated the graphics. In Dominion, we updated the sovereignty capture mechanics. There are countless things that we do have iterated on, but it's true that factional warfare has not been one of those things. Essentially, we've been looking at a good design to replace it. And we think we are onto something right now. We may base the iteration on technology that we developed actually for the incursions, and also on our upcoming iteration on the sovereignty mechanics. So it's certainly on our radar, but with a big and deep game like EVE, imagine, we've had 13 expansions, and we've been running it since for over 8 years now. There are certainly some children that have been neglected, but they're certainly on our radar.
How about the people, because with Incarna now the captain's quarters coming, and then later, as you said, establishments, and more avatar-based gameplay. But as someone brought up on at FanFest actually during the open Q&A session with you guys, there was a question, what about the old-timers? What about people that don't care really about walking around in stations? When will they get some love, to use their own words?
Well, if you look at the team structure, we actually have 3 different teams in-house working solely on what we call FIS, or flying in space, classic EVE features, whether it's missioning, whether it's sovereignty, whether it's industry, and the graphics, for example, the turret graphics. And these people aren't going anywhere. So we are actually in our portfolio, if you will, of features, we are committing a lot of resources to iterating on EVE. But just like I'm saying, this stuff has to be done in order. And I know it's hard to wait for your the thing that you love the most and the thing that you use the most. But just prioritizing that list becomes the most important thing. And having things like the Council of Stellar Management to help us with prioritizing that list and also the forums has been really valuable. Also, we have been doing something which you call many little things. I originally called it 1,000 little things, but people told me, no, Torri, we're not going to be able to do 1,000. But essentially what we are doing, we're doing minor fixes to the game client. Rather than doing one big feature, we committed our headline Flying in Space team, this expansion, to doing 1,000 little things. So we collected all of these little annoying things that you would want to like improve, both in balancing and gameplay and UI. We collected it both internally and from the forums, and people voted on them and voted some things up and voted other things down, and that gave us a prioritized list. And also we got a list from the Council of Stellar Management, and that list has been like the backlog for that team. So we're actually investing a lot of energy and time into making the quality of life of the average EVE player better.
What's it been like now? You mentioned the Council of Stellar Management. That was the latest iteration was revealed during FanFest, and of course it's being led by or chairman by the very controversial Mitani or Middens. How's that been working with it? Because these are people now that are very vocal.
They are, but I mean, they are vocal because they care for the game. They have a massive investment into the game. Their friends are in the game. They have relationships that they built into the game, and actually, they have achieved remarkable things inside the game. Back when we were designing EVE, back in like 2002 and 3 and so on, we did not anticipate alliance structures of this size. We looked at Dunbar's number, which says that you can't really, you know, have a social organization that's bigger than 150 people. You can't really like groom them or uses the word grooming properly to maintain the relationships. But actually with, you know, internet and Facebook and forums and whatnot, Dunbar is just history, and people actually can build these massive structures. But you're asking about how the working relationship with them. It was actually really civil. They were over in Reykjavik in May. And we had a lot of productive conversations with them, and it's also interesting to see these people who are enemies in game. They're all best buddies when they meet in real life, whether it's at the Council of Stellar Management or at the FanFest. And they are providing us with a lot of valuable feedback to our ideas, not just personally, but they're also providing us with feedback from the people that they are responsible for, or the people that they, you know, manage essentially in game. So it's actually, I wouldn't have it any other way than to have these vocal people actually right there in the offices of CCP telling us what's wrong with our game.
And now, just wrapping up, Captain Quarters, are you happy with the way it turned out? Only when we were recording this, it's about to hit the live servers. Are you happy with it?
I am really happy with the Captain's Quarters. I feel just walking, I had the same thing when I was when we just launched EVE originally. It was difficult for me to see it as a game. It was just 3D assets. Oh, this is this planet that we modeled the other day, and this is the ship. And, I remember when it launched and I was playing it, and then I had this moment where it wasn't a 3D asset anymore, and it wasn't this texture that I had worked on some months before or whatever. It was just real. I was in space. I was commanding a starship, and I was on the test server the other day, and I was walking around in the Captain's Quarters, and I had the same moment. It wasn't this, you know, asset that I've been working with the art department for like months on detailing and so on. It was just finally, it's a deeper manifestation of the universe. It's more real. It's more tangible. It's more touchable. As a developer, of course, my perfectionism goes. I wanted to deliver more. You know, in the first release, I wanted to deliver all of the Captain's Quarters and all of the establishments and just do like all of the gameplay. But essentially from QA, production, and even a game design perspective, it is better to roll things out incrementally. And actually really proud of this first iteration that we are delivering.